What's good? It's Woog. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are into the fight talk. It looks like the WBA just ordered for Gervonta Davis to have to take on his mandatory challenger, Rolando Romero. As excited as I am that they made the fight between Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez for 2 of the 4 belts at 130, I'm kind of about the idea of Gervonta Davis fighting Rolando Romero for Gervonta Davis's WBA regular lightweight title. Like, nobody really recognizes Gervonta Davis as a WBA champ. They recognize him as a sensational, outstanding fighter, but, there is a champion of the WBA, and that's currently George Kambosos, who took it from Teofimo Lopez. So this is one of those lesser WBA belts. Gervonta Davis has also held a lesser 140 title that he won from Mario Barrios. So it's really silly. It's almost like if a sanctioning body has a belt with a certain promoter, certain organization, then to keep another promoter network happy, they'll like issue out a regular belt and then let that promoter's fighters, their stable of fighters, battle for that regular belt. And they'll do it in different ways in different divisions, and it makes it obviously difficult and frustrating to track. It leads to a lot of so-called title fights that it's like, what the hell? I mean, look, it's bad enough that there are 4 belts per division, but then when you have multiple belts from one sanctioning body, it really does make for some laughable title bouts. Now, there's nothing to laugh at about Gervonta Davis and his performance fight after fight after fight. He's undefeated, 26-0 with 24 knockouts. Romero, to his credit, is 14-0 with 12 knockouts. And, as much as I would rather see Gervonta Davis be fighting the likes of, George Kambosos, Vasily Lomachenko, Devin Haney, if Teofimo Lopez could get back on track, and if they're in the same division, Teofimo Lopez. I mean, there are a lot of people I would rather Gervonta Davis fight than Rolando Romero. To the WBA's credit, even as absurd as the issuance of these titles are, as bad as it is that they have a regular belt and a super title, and again, Gervonta Davis holds the regular belt, Rolando Romero holds a WBA interim lightweight belt. So it's not the super belt, it's not the regular belt, but it's the interim belt. And so this is a title that he won in a fight that most viewers probably thought that he lost. This was the one against Jackson Marinez, where he kind of got outboxed. The same Marinez who would then go on to actually get beaten badly and knocked out by Richard Comey. But, the broadcasters were like kind of hyping Romero up a little bit, but, it was very evident as you're watching him fight Jackson Marinez that, hey, Romero might not be winning this fight, and he ended up winning a controversial unanimous decision against Jackson Marinez. That's how Romero became the WBA interim champion at lightweight. It was a vacant interim belt, but he's defended that against Avery Sparrow, against Anthony Yiggett, even though Yiggett missed weight, so the interim title was technically not up for grabs. So I'm saying all that to say, as much as I don't really care to see Gervonta Davis versus Rolando Romero, I don't think it's going to go well for Romero. I didn't think it was going to go well for him when they first made the fight between Gervonta Davis and Rolando Romero. I did a preview video, but the fight was canceled because of the sexual allegations against Rolando Romero. He was never charged officially. The allegations weren't substantiated, at least not in court legally. But so they are remaking this fight, and I pretty much feel the same. I feel like it could be exciting and explosive and pretty scintillating. I mean, Romero might even crack Gervonta Davis a couple times, and he can crack, and he throws from awkward angles. I just think that he leaves his chin way too exposed. Even when he's throwing his jab, it's like his shoulders are down and he throws the jab out and his head is up high. I don't know if he has a long neck or what, but it just looks like he's got a upright, almost statuesque head, not a ton of head movement. And I just think that that's ripe for the picking for somebody as explosive, sweet science. I mean, look, for as powerful as Gervonta Davis is, he's a great boxer as well. So I just see this being a devastating knockout for Gervonta Davis on Rolando Romero. Maybe not too dissimilar from Canelo Alvarez versus James Kirkland, something like that. Rolando Romero will let his hands go, and he comes in hot too with some of his power punches. But Gervonta Davis's counterpunching ability, whether you're talking his left uppercut, his straight left, even his right hook, his kind of check right hook, he just could put it all together. And yes, his replacement opponent for Rolando Romero, Isaac Cruz, I thought was going to be a better opponent than Davis, but I thought that Davis was going to stop Isaac Cruz. Well, I didn't anticipate that Davis was going to hurt his signature hand, his left hand, in the middle rounds against Cruz, where you saw Cruz give him trouble in the first couple rounds, but then by the third, fourth round, it looked like Davis was starting to figure it out, starting to catch Isaac Cruz coming in and then moving away, and then, kind of just hitting him with counters, clean punches, and it seemed like it was starting to tilt more and more in Tank Davis's favor. Well, when you break your signature hand, all bets are off. And to me, it was funny to see a lot of people, whether you're talking social media or some of the boxing media, really not criticize Davis, but basically say that it was a underwhelming or just not a very good performance from Davis. Well, one, I think Isaac Cruz is a very good fighter. I think that he's gonna, while his career lasts, I don't know how sustainable his style is, because he does get hit a lot. He puts his head down and will start throwing high. But he does kind of tuck his chin, keep his head low, to the point where I thought that Gervonta Davis would have a height advantage against Isaac Cruz, because Davis is usually the shorter fighter, as he will also be against Rolando Romero, and generally is, against almost all of his opponents. Well, in this case, the height actually was a disadvantage, I thought, for Davis as I'm seeing the fight play out, because Isaac Cruz, again, keeps a low crouch. As short as he is, he fights even shorter, explodes high, so there wasn't a ton there for Davis to hit cleanly. He's usually punching up at opponents and knocking them the hell out. Leo Santa Cruz, he eventually stopped Mario Barrios in a very difficult fight for Gervonta Davis. Very difficult fight. One of the most underrated fights of the year. I thought that was on my short list for fights of the year. Gervonta Davis versus Mario Barrios, or Mario Barrios versus Gervonta Davis, since he was technically the belt holder. But against Isaac Cruz, Gervonta Davis wasn't able to hit a ton without eventually paying for it, because he says that he hit Isaac Cruz on the top of his low head, which, as I'm watching the fight, I thought that there were a few punches, and I was talking with the people I was watching the fight with, damn, did Davis just hurt his hand? Because it looks like he's hitting the top of Isaac Cruz with some of these power punches, and lo and behold, Gervonta Davis, is wincing on his walk to the corner, wincing in the corner, just visibly looking like he's in pain. And then he goes a full few rounds towards the, later rounds, 8, 9, 10, where he doesn't even throw that left hand once. And so based on that alone, I don't know how anybody could really criticize Gervonta Davis's, yes, it didn't work out in the way that he would have wanted to, where you've got two healthy hands, so you're able to just butcher the guy and eventually stop him or something like that. But I do think that the fight would have been a lot less close. This was a close fight. I had Davis winning by 1 round, so this was a barn burner because of how dramatic that injury really made the fight. Look, similar to how you saw Gary Russell Jr. not throwing any jabs. Gary Russell Jr., no jabs for several rounds. You're watching Davis, and you visibly see that he's not using his best hand, and so he's basically having to kind of check hook with the lead right, and then pivot, try to push Davis and or push Cruz, buy himself more time. He was having to show every bit of craft that he has, and to me, that was more so a testament of how multi-dimensional and how much Gervonta Davis is well-rounded, technical, and just far from a one-trick pony. This was a great boxing performance, in my opinion. To have somebody as good and as determined and as durable and as just hard-charging as Isaac Cruz, and you're able to, Davis, again, had difficulty. I had him winning by 1 round, so there were several rounds that Isaac Cruz won. But to do just enough to evade punishment, never hit the canvas once, get out of harm's way whenever things get really thick, because, again, things got very difficult. I saw that more as something to the credit of Gervonta Davis, not to the detriment. But with Gervonta Davis versus Rolando Romero, my first thoughts are it's going to be fun. Again, Romero might drill him a couple times, but I think that he's eventually going to get his head taken off by something very clean and nasty by Gervonta Davis, the very devastating, explosive, skilled counterpuncher. Counterpuncher when he wants to be. He could lead too, but he won't. Romero isn't going to all of a sudden become a Jackson Mariñez and be circling the perimeter of the ring, making Gervonta Davis come after him. I expect Rolando Romero to fight Gervonta Davis like Rolando Romero fights, and I think that that's going to be his undoing here. But those are just my early thoughts. I'll do a fully fleshed out preview as we get closer to a fight date, if in fact the fight date is made. But yeah, let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are into the fight talk. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.